I've recently done a 90-day transformation in which I got lean for summer, and today I want to show kind of like my insights from the transformation, because this time around it felt like it wasn't necessarily worth it. It was more difficult than usual. It was hard tracking my macros and calories. I had a lot of hunger. The energy was not there, and maybe back in the day I was just so obsessed with the whole fitness thing and getting lean, and that was like my only focus. And now that I have other things that I'm focusing on in my life, you know, also in the business, etc., different goals, it started to feel different and more tough than usual. So during this transformation, this is the workout split that I've been following, and I really like it. So it's 4 days a week, which is not that much compared to, you know, how often I used to train. And there were some weeks where I even went 3 times instead of 4. In that case, I would do 2 full body sessions and 1 upper body session. Just a little more sets on those full body days, so I made sure I hit my weekly volume. So during this routine, I focus on a couple of key movements, which I'll put on the screen. Those are all the main focus, to keep my strength on those, which succeeded. As you can see, one of them is the weighted pull-up. Doing this one for many years. If you're from the student aesthetics days, you know I was already doing back then. 45 kgs today. If you want wide lats, this is the one. Going down with this weight is already heavy. It's the natty ball sack right here. No TRT. Got one if you get the joke. So on the main lifts, I was doing between 3 and 6 reps, so very low in reps to make sure I maintain my strength or even make some strength gains, which obviously as you get leaner, it's not really possible anymore if you've been lifting for a while. So I started losing a little bit of strength in those, you know, last few weeks. After you get like below 10% body fat is when that really kicks in. But before that, I think you can try and, you know, keep making strength gains, very minor ones. So you can only do that really in the low rep ranges, because otherwise that's not gonna happen. And then for the other exercises, usually between 8 to 10 reps, 12 to 15 on some. And my total sets per week also changed. They were between like 12 to 15 at the end of the bulk. And now during this cut, they ended up being between 6 and 10 per muscle group per week at the very end of the cut. And as deeper I got into this cut, the less I was training to complete failure, but pretty much on every single set, it's 1 to 2 reps away from failure. And those sets that I'm talking about are working sets, so they don't include the warm-up sets. When I just did those weighted pull-ups, start with body weight, start with, you know, 10 kgs, 20 kgs, 30 kgs, then 40 for just like 1 or 2 reps. And then I hit the weight, so make sure you're warm and then go hard. Intensity is very important, so I choose it over volume, especially when I'm cutting. I've learned that over the years, it's much better. Less sets, more intense, and then you can really try and maintain as much strength as humanly possible. Outfit today's Alphalete as usual. Love this t-shirt, really nice. It's not too tight, so it has good room. Also nice for leg day, super light material. And the Lee Swift shorts, favorite ones in the game, with some compression too, also great for running. Some things in life never change, such as the bowl of oats. Been eating this for years. But other things do change, such as the toppings that I use. Got some raw honey here. You can buy this in like a organic store or at a local farmer. It tastes a lot different. You can also see the structure is a lot different. You know, it doesn't come out of a tube like the ones in the grocery store. Things like this, raw honey as a topping, which is very nice, also very healthy in my diet. Makes me feel very good to eat, you know, all these foods that are not processed. So back in the day, I would use toppings like this into my oats. Sugar-free syrup. This has 0 calories. This has like, depending on, you know, how much you use, but like it's something like 80 calories is like a freaking apple. But like this is obviously a processed food, right? It doesn't come from nature. This literally does. Literally bees create this shit, you know? So it's different. Now back in the day, I wouldn't care about that at all, right? It would only be about the numbers. As long as I hit those macros per day, I'm good, I'm losing fat. And while that is true, like literally true, the way your body composition will change is by the amount of calories that you eat. while there are some people that still try to debate this stuff, while it's literally science, it doesn't mean that that is like the best way to go. The food quality also still matters, and it actually matters more than I thought previously. And maybe when I was younger, I didn't really know whether that made a difference because I was less in tune with my emotions. And so right now, I can feel my emotions better. I know how I'm truly feeling deep down. And back in the day, my life was just very fast. It was very much about, you know, accomplishing things, like going after these goals all the time, that I didn't really give a shit about how I felt, to be honest, you know. And I'm not saying you need to eat like all these organic foods and stuff. Like, you know, I still buy a lot at the grocery store. So during this diet phase, I was tracking my macros. I started at around 2,800 calories a day. And at the end of the 12 weeks, I was down to 2,500 calories a day. Now, reality is, as calories get lower, your hunger goes up. And at some stage, I couldn't afford my calories anymore to like eat this raw honey, for example, because it's simply too high in calories. I could also eat an apple instead of it. So while this was actually great food that I liked, that made me feel good, that had a good effect on my gut as well, because I had some issues there before I started experimenting with different foods, I now had to cut out. So it felt kind of like counterproductive to my goals to like get healthy on one side, but on the other side, I wanted to get lean for this goal. They kind of like felt like it didn't really match anymore like it used to back in the day when I would, you know, use Pam spray on my pan. Like this morning, I cooked with grass-fed butter. But like grass-fed butter is obviously pretty high in calories. So at some stage when you're trying to be a bodybuilder and trying to get as low fat as possible, that ain't just gonna cut it anymore, man. And so it feels kind of weird, you know, you swap out one food for another that's lower in calories, but not necessarily healthier to appear, look healthier or more athletic. I don't know, this time I started asking questions about it, like, is this goal really worth, you know, sacrificing that other thing right now? Before I started the shredding phase, I was only doing like 5K steps a day or even less on some days, sitting behind my, you know, computer a lot. Weather was not so good in the Netherlands, you know. Still, it should be summer right now, but like, sun is not really out. And so I started upping my steps to 10,000 a day. I did this gradually over the weeks. When I can't make my mind up about something, I like to write things down. Getting shredded worth it? That's the question. All right, let's make a pros and cons list. So the pros, getting more compliments, you know, that's definitely a pro. All right, what else? It builds dedication. You push through something, you set a goal, and you actually go after it every single day to achieve it. It has something to it, you know? Next, this one is huge. More likes on IG. We can't go around it. We can say it doesn't matter. It does matter. If you're shredded, you get more likes on Instagram. It's the truth. It is what it is. It's a pro. This one is also pretty important. Well, pretty cool. I always miss it. A sharp jawline, baby. The sharp jawline. Okay, when you're shredded, it looks good. I'm not gonna lie. I like that jawline. I always miss it once I start eating more again. I do think though, those are kind of like the main pros I can come up with. And here I'm talking about like, this is important, okay? Okay. Sub like 10% and lower. If you go below 10% body fat and get like really shredded, that's when the cons really start to come into play. The first one, more compliments, okay, when you get shredded. That's true, but what is the con? Compliments are bros. You get a lot of compliments, but all the compliments are gym bros. Okay, let's just keep it real. Second one, it builds dedication. True, but it does mess with your energy. Okay, so it kind of sucks. More likes on IG was the pro. The con is you get more likes, which you think is a great thing. It's awesome. You know, you get this validation. However, it doesn't lead to you feeling great about yourself. It leads to kind of like you never feeling satisfied. Then we have the sharp jaw, which is awesome. But to be honest, like if you're 10 to 12% body fat, you also have a pretty sharp jaw. At some point below 10% body fat, it actually becomes too freaking sharp where your face becomes like looking malnourished. Those are the comments I got on like my Men's Physique show prep. And you actually look like a crackhead at some point, like the lower you get in body fat percentage. So the jaw itself actually has diminishing returns at some stage, but also the cons, you know, hungry all the time, like literally hungry all the time. What else we got? Lower libido. if you're shredding, this is something you're gonna notice, especially if you're natural, your libido is gonna crash at some point, your testosterone levels. You're gonna feel like crap, okay? Been there, done that, and you know, you put in all this work, you have a sharp jawline, you have all these likes on IG, you're the man, you have dedication, you get all these compliments from gym bros, but it doesn't matter, you're awesome, right? And now, you finally get to make a move, but it doesn't go up. That sucks, it sucks, it's not great. And then finally, all these cons tie up together into something that will happen, and which is a big con, which we all fall into in some sort of way as a gym bro: mental health issues. Real talk, at the end of the day, a lot of us get some sort of mental health problems. Whether it is never feeling good about your progress, always feeling like, you know, it should be more before you're really happy, before you eventually get there and before you make it, you know, in terms of your physique, the ideal physique, which you never really get to, but always try to go there. Comparing yourself to other people, which leads to all sorts of, you know, mental problems. Whether that is, you know, an eating disorder, which a lot of people in fitness also develop, and which I've developed in the past as well. I can say that for sure. Or whether it is you trying to fill a void in your life by going to the gym every single day, by spending hours there, you know, by escaping a lot of responsibilities in your life and instead hitting the weights. Man, I feel that. We have a clear winner. Now I'm curious, what would you add to this list? Let me know in the comments below. And one benefit about not being super shredded is that you can do fun little stuff like we are right now in the evening. How excited are you?
Very excited.
So this is soft ice cream. I don't know if this is a worldwide thing. Think it is?
I don't know.
These are little nuts on there. Man, it's so good. And how did we spot this place last week? We tried to find a place that has this. Not many places do.
No, we tried like 4 or 5 places.
They all have this gelato, like Italian ice cream. Italians will probably kill me for this. So how do we find it?
They had this giant ice cream outside.
Right there. That's what I remember when you were a kid. You were always spotting these. We were doing the same thing last week. We went around the entire city.
Can I get an ice cream?
Yeah, we didn't even find it on Google Maps. We just looked around.
Yeah.
Great adventure.
Great ice cream.
After all these years of getting shredded so many times, I simply don't think it's worth it anymore. And it has a lot to do with me growing up, getting older, also having like different priorities in life. And maybe you recognize that too. So a lot of these cons, they used to be acceptable for me, but now the pros don't really outweigh the cons anymore, which is something in life that can happen. So that's why it's always important to keep asking yourself deeper questions than just all the stuff that you're already doing in your life, because things become a habit, you know? And this ice cream is slowly becoming a habit too, because this is week number 2 that we're doing this. This is gonna be a weekly thing.
Yes.
Yes, she wants.
Looks like a mic. Hello. I'm doing an interview. What do you rate this ice cream?
I would rate this ice cream.
It's an old joke.
That was so stupid. Anyway guys, all this said, this was my final shred. Now, does that mean I'm against getting lean? No. I'm talking about like getting way below 10% body fat. I still think you have all those benefits when you stay between like, you know, it's a 10 to 12% body fat. Which I'm at right now, you can still enjoy this ice cream. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Much love and see you soon. It's been a while.